Coming up in this episode, former England man finds himself in police custody, and the conclusion to the NRL Round 3 and Super League Round 5 fixtures. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you enjoy what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Also, please remember that I'm still running my Buy Me a Coffee campaign, where we look to fund a future rugby league project. Just use your mobile phone or any mobile device to click on the QR code, and you'll be directed straight away to donate to that fund. Anyway, what we got today for you in the show? Well, we begin with the news that former England second rower and former Wigan, Widnes and Leigh Centurions player Gareth Hock has been charged with rape among a number of other offences and has been remanded in custody. Greater Manchester Police have confirmed Hock has been charged with the multiple offences. The charges go from rape, assault, controlling or coercive behaviour and more allegations as well. The newest complaint against Hock is the rape charge, and the 39-year-old has already been brought against him earlier this month with charges of assault, controlling and coercive behaviour, and Greater Manchester Police are refusing to provide any further details on the sexual offence. The allegations were based on the events that took place between January the 1st, 2009 and November the 11th, 2022. He has also been accused for failing to report an accident and failing to stop at the scene of an accident in November last year. It was also alleged that he was driving an Audi in Orrell area of Wigan on November the 11th, 2022, which crashed before driving off without stopping. Due to all these allegations, Hock has been subsequently arrested on February the 14th and appears at Manchester and Salford Magistrate Court, where he was bailed. He is due to appear at Manchester Crown Court, Crown Square, on March the 22nd for a pre-trial preparation hearing. Hock has made over 300 appearances during his rugby league career that saw him play for 6 different clubs and represent both England and Great Britain. He started his career at Wigan Warriors and spent 10 seasons with the club, though he served a 2-year suspension during that period after a failed drug test. He subsequently played for Widnes Vikings, Salford Red Devils, Leigh Centurions, Featherstone Rovers and then Barrow Raiders. He made 9 appearances for Great Britain and England and was part of the World Cup squad in 2008. But the 18th of March 2023 see Wigan Police, the Greater Manchester Police of Wigan, post on their Twitter page that Gareth Hock from Wigan has been charged with multiple offences. He will be remanded in custody and will appear in court at a later date. This was issued yesterday. This is seen rather harsh by people who replied to the post as naming Gareth Hock before he's been proven guilty. He should be innocent in the eyes of the law at this point, and no name should be released, but they released his name. Hock, though, is facing some long list of charges there, as well as over a long period. If he is found guilty, it will be detriment to the gentleman's life, but if you've done it, then you've done a crime. But if he's not done it, these posts on social media are very reckless and could open the police up to litigation themselves. Have to see how this comes about, and then see what happens. More will probably come out in the future, but for now, I thought I'd bring you that information. It's Sunday, and that means that day 4 of the NRL's third round comes to a close with 2 games left to play. First of all, we see the Canterbury Bulldogs versus the West Tigers and Canberra Raiders versus Cronulla Sharks face off against each other in what has come to be a lower end of the table type of affair so far this season. The first game saw the Bulldogs face the Tigers, and these are 2 sides who made plenty of headlines in the off-season for their recruitment spree, and now they go head-to-head at Belmore Sports Ground in round 3 after both coming off vastly different performances last time out. The Bulldogs caused an upset win over the Storm with new recruits Viliami Kikau and Reid Mahoney showing their worth at Amy Park to help give Cameron Cirildo his first win in charge of the Blue and Whites. West Tigers have their own selves to blame for surrendering 2 matches at Letchfield Oval in the past fortnight, with their expansive play coached by Tim Sheens in the summer clearly not working in the early stages. It is going to be a positive for West Tigers as their latest new recruit, John Bateman, is named in the starting 13. An afternoon at Belmore in front of a packed Pro Dogs crowd is going to add to a pressure on Tim Sheen's side to turn around the results, while Cirildo's men will be looking to improve on their disappointed recent record at the venue. So, what came out of the results? As a result, it saw the Bulldogs come away with a win, 26 points to 22, despite a late rally from the Tigers themselves. It was Hayes Perham who got on the try-scoring list after 4 minutes before Josh Adokar got a pass from his centre to waltz into the try position. The centre in question was Paul Alamate, and he was provider again as he and Adokar switched passes to each other before the aforementioned centre Alamate drew in 2 West Tigers defenders and offloaded to his winger for a winger to go in for his second try. Good effort by the wingers. At this point, we had 3 conversions from Carl Flanagan from the 3 tries and a penalty on the 40th minute to give 20 points to 6 lead to the Canterbury Bulldogs. Brett Naden used his strength, size and speed to score on the 21st minute, with Adam Dewey adding the extras for the first half's goals in the Tigers' favour. In the second half, though, it was the Dogs that got the first try again as Matt Burton went over underneath the sticks for Carl Flanagan to convert to make it 26 points to 6. For some reason, this woke up the West Tigers as they scored 3 tries, with 2 being converted by Adam Dewey. The first came from Luke Brooks on the 66 minutes before Vanua Pole scoring on the 69th minute, and a minute later Charlie Staines got over the try line on the 70th minute. But it wasn't enough to claw back the Dogs, as the Dogs came out victorious, 26 points to 22. The last game of the weekend came at the expense of Canberra Raiders and Cronulla Sharks, and after suffering back-to-back defeats to kick off 2023, the Raiders will be seeking a return to form in their first home game of the season against the Sharks sides who beat the Eels last week. Canberra surrendered a 6-point advantage after the first half in an eventual 20 points to 14 loss to the Dolphins in round 2, despite the Green Machine winning almost all the key statistical categories across the 80 minutes. With the Raiders struggling to make yardage through the opening 2 weeks, an area they ranked 13th in heading into round 3, Ricky Stewart could be pondering changes to his forward pack. On Sunday, they'll face the Cronulla Shark, who will have enjoyed a 9-day break after downing the Eels in round 2, with fullback William Kennedy stepping up to put a handful of key plays in the absence of Nico Hines. After possession being the third best after possessing the third best defensive record in the regular season last year, the Sharks have leaked 26 points or more in both games this year, and it's sure to be an area of concern for coach Craig Fitzgibbon. Big factor in Canberra's favour is a dominant recent record against Cronulla, who they boast an 8 straight win against ratio, and while the Raiders have won 7 of their 10 games at GIO Stadium last year. Who came out on top in this one? Well, it was the Raiders who came out on top, 24 points to 20 over the Sharks. And quite simply, it was the Raiders who got their first win of the season. So, tries came aplenty from the two sides as defences were on the back foot all the way through, and try scoring opened with Will Kennedy getting a ball from Ronaldo Mulitalo, as the fullback can't do any wrong at this moment in time and keeps scoring. Albert Apuati though goes over on the left edge with a pass from Jack Whiten with a slight suspicion of being forward, but that's for naught. Canberra went over the try line and Jamal Fogarty converted. Braden Trindle converted Will Kennedy's try before Corey Horsbrook went over on the 30th minute to give the lead in the Raiders' advantage. Anyway, I'll get the words out eventually. Jamal Fogarty scored on the 31st minute, the conversion, before half-time making it 12 points to 10. It was the same scoreline again in the second half. First of all, it was the Raiders that opened up the scoring with Matthew Timoko scoring on the 43rd minute and Jesse Ramian scoring on the 55th minute. Corey Horsbrook got a second try as well on the 51st minute. This after Royce Hunt threw a punch at him. You could see in the response from the Raiders man when he scored a try that Royce Hunt was the person that he was unhappy with. Hunt ended up in the bin for 10 minutes. This didn't stop the Sharks though, as Britton Nikora went over on the 71st minute after Ramian responded to the earlier tries. Braden Trindle kicked 2 from 4 while Jamal Fogarty kicked 4 from 4. Then that was the subtle difference between the two sides. Goal kicking. Could have been a draw, but the Raiders get their first win of the season. And with that, here's a rundown of the full fixture list. The Sea Eagles beat the Eels 34 points to 30, with the Dolphins beating the Newcastle Knights in their background, 36 points to 20. The Roosters came out on top in the Sydney Derby, 20 points to 18 against the Rabbitohs. Gold Coast Titans Sharks win against the Storm, 38 points to 44 in a defensive on top type of situation. New Zealand Warriors beat the North Queensland Cowboys 26 points to 12 in Gold Coast country. In Queensland country, should I say. The Broncos beat St George Illawarra 40 points to 18. And then the Bulldogs 26 points to 22 victory, and the Raiders 24 points to 20 shows in this round how close sides can be for 2023. And as multicultural round finishes, here are the placings in the NRL. Top 8 are the Broncos, the Dolphins and Manly Seagulls with 6 points. New Zealand Warriors, Penrith Panthers, Gold Coast Titans, Sydney Roosters and the Bulldogs join St George Illawarra on 4 points apiece. Illawarra slide out to that top 8 position before the Rabbitohs, the Raiders, Cronulla Sharks, Melbourne Storm, Newcastle Knights and North Queensland Cowboys are all on 2 points apiece. The bottom 2, Parramatta Eels and the West Tigers. Two fantastic Super League games to conclude round 5 of the season so far. So who were those 2 games involving? Well, Catalan's Dragons entertained Hull KR in Perpignan, while Salford Red Devils welcomed Wakefield Trinity to the AJ Bell Stadium. Wakefield being the one team looking to score points, well as pick up a win as they finish bottom so far. So Saturday saw the Dragons take on the Robins, and Catalans claimed a brilliant win on the road against Wigan Warriors despite missing several key men as they maintained their perfect start to the season. The Dragons were superb defensively as they were able to grind out a win in poor conditions at the DW Stadium, but they are handed a little boost here with Cesar Rouge back in contention. On the other side, Hull KR suffered a second loss in succession as they went down to the Warrington Wolves last week and now face a tough task as they attempt to get back to winning ways. Rovers were second best, but that means they were in no way disgraced against the league leaders, and they should be able to welcome Jordan Abdul back into the side after he sat out through injury last week. League leaders they were talking about is Warrington Wolves, but it's Catalan to go 100% record themselves if they beat Hull KR this time out. So how did the game go? It ended up as Catalans Day as they beat Hull KR 26 points to 12 with a hat-trick coming from Tom Johnston for good figures this season, Tom Davis going over the other side, and Julian Busquets getting another try to seal the deal. Adam Kieran kicked one from 3 before Alton Marks took over and kicked 2 from 2. OKR had Rowan Milnes and Ryan Hall to thank for their tries, while Mikey Lewis kicked 2 conversions. Wasn't enough to beat the Catalans Dragons, who go on to 100% record, like Warrington just above them. And that brings us to Sunday's game between Salford Red Devils and Wakefield Trinity. Salford were at their free-flowing best as they ran rampant, to be fair, against Hull FC last week, running in 60 points in what was a scintillating display. It was a welcome return to winning ways for Paul Rowley's side, and they will be looking to build on the back of that on home soil. And they have been able to name a 21-man squad this week, with Danny Addy back in the squad, following a long stint on the sidelines. Wakefield Trinity, though, they were poor once again as they capitulated to Leeds Rhinos in the second half, as Leeds Rhinos ran out comfortable victors, 26 points to 0. The scores were locked 0-0 at the break despite going to that loss, as they were nilled for the third game in succession, and to make matters worse, Lee Gaskell has now joined an ever-increasing injury list. But who came out victorious in this game? It turned out to be an epic at the AJ Bell Stadium, as Wakefield ran Salford all the way to a 14 points to 13 loss in a much improved performance from the Wakefield Trinity side. It was one for the ages, and hopefully a spur to kick on Wakefield for the rest of the season. Salford's tries came in the first half from Costello and Aitken, with Mark Sneed kicking 2 goals, then kicked a drop goal in the second half before finishing the game with a drop goal in golden point extra time. Wakefield had Corey Hall and Reece Lynn to thank for their tries. Mason Lino kicked 1 goal attempt from the 2 that he had. All those points, apart from a drop goal, 2 drop goals for Salford, 1 for Wakefield, and a penalty in the second half from Mason Lino, was all scored in the first half. It was a tight affair. Defence is on top seriously this time in the second half. Salford losing the second half 3-1. But in the end, they've got the 2 competition points with that golden point extra time, 105th minute drop goal. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, and also click on the notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way in the future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as it's open for business for you and me to go through a civil discourse. I want to thank the people this week who have been involved in the conversation. It's fantastic that you got involved, and I hope to speak to you more in the future. Anyway, tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section, with Gareth Hock, the NRL games and the Super League games, one that's just finished, going up on the block. Golden point extra time for Salford and Wakefield. Was gonna say a Salford blowout for that one, but hey oh, ended up with the result that we got. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll end the episode as you always do by wishing you all the very best, so please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.